Hello and welcome to the Douyu Dota 2 Cup here on HeflaTV 1. This is going to be the second best of 3 of the day and the second best of 3 in the playoffs. It's going to be Energy Pacemaker versus Newbee Miracle. Energy Pacemaker up until this point have been looking really good, finishing second inside the group, so they were able to pick the second opponent, and as to be expected, it's going to be Newbee Miracle, who didn't have a very strong showing at all in the round robin group stage. I'm going to see, once again, going to be joined by Kefka Dota as we'll get into this game.
Yeah, and Energy Pacemakers had a great showing in the group stage, but Newbee Miracle was one of the teams that managed to play even against them, and that two-game series ended up 1-1. So it's not like Energy Pacemaker has an advantage in previous records, at least in this tournament.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We're going to start things off with Undying, Leshrac, Bounty Hunter, and Broodmother banned out. And Energy Pacemaker will first pick the Tusk, responded by Rubik Lina for Newbee Miracle. Very interesting to see Broodmother taken out so early.
Yeah, it's not common to be banned this early. It's a bit surprising. It's not really a good first pick or picks this early because it can get countered by a few heroes. But other than that, it's pretty standard. Tusk always first pick when he gets through, and then Rubik Lina has become more and more popular, to be honest, getting picked earlier and earlier the longer the tournament goes.
Yeah, and it's so very flexible with the things that you can do with the Rubik Lina combination. You can throw the Lina mid, but if the lane's not favorable, you can always just run the Lina as a support. Rubik Lina is more than capable in that combination, and it's pretty good against the Tusk. You have Lightstrike ready to drop on top of everybody once they snowball in, and Rubik's reasonably a good defensive support too. Energy Pacemaker will go ahead and follow up that Tusk with a Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, giving Old Chicken his Shadow Fiend is pretty good, I think. They really want to get him as early as possible, and since you pick him second in, and your opponent can't pick afterwards, you can ban out heroes that counter him, like Storm Spirit.
And they'll go ahead and do that, and they'll ban out the Queen of Pain as well, but still in the pool, Spirit Breaker could be really annoying for Energy Pacemaker to deal with, but you only have so many bans, especially when you see things like Broodmother banned out in the first stage. So there's going to be some of these top tier heroes that trickle through to the second picking stage.
Yeah, I hope we see some interesting heroes. We saw lost best of 3. We saw two somewhat unorthodox offlaners with Night Stalker and Juggernaut was offlaners in either of the games, and they both did amazing in both games. And I hope we see something a bit unusual in the offlane. Maybe that does as well as those heroes did.
Yeah, Dazzle Ben coming out from Newbee Miracle, and we'll go into the second pick stage. But yeah, as you said, this could be an interesting game when it comes to what the offlaners are going to be. But Clockwork's still available in the pool, and Newbee Miracle are on the dire side, but instead they pick up the Jug. It's probably not going to be the offlane Jug that we saw earlier today, but instead just safe lane farming for them.
Yeah, I think so. But they have a chance to pick the Spirit Breaker and do the same like Terrorblade did with Juggernaut Spirit Breaker. That could be pretty interesting. It's still in the pool. Clockwork is still here though, so they have a lot of options here. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did Spirit Breaker though. It's pretty strong as Shadow Fiend and Earthshaker.
I'd love to see the Spirit Breaker instead of the Clock, but on the dire side against an Earthshaker, it's really hard to pass up that hero. They still have flexibility though. The Earthshaker for Energy Pacemaker is, ooh, it's a TA for Newbee Miracle instead. They're going to leave their offlaner till the last pick. That for me is very peculiar.
Yeah, it's not the most common picked mid hero, at least in this situation. If you want to pick them processing, you usually want it to be your fourth pick, where you can ban afterwards. Now, Energy Pacemaker has a chance to pick a good hero here against it, or you want to fifth pick it. But now Energy Pacemaker has some time to think about this and how they want to deal with it. But it's still a good pick. It's very good against Shadow Fiend and Earthshaker. Even if he helps Shadow Fiend mid, it's pretty hard to do anything against the temp processing because you have nothing to take away the refraction with.
Yeah, and it could end up being a difficult lane for Old Chicken. This tournament in particular, Old Chicken's had very mixed performances inside the mid lane. They're going to need to protect him, and even if they do, he might end up struggling a bit. Also, Miracle have great access to the Roshan Pit with both the Juggernaut and the Templar Assassin. They could look to take it out very early on. And Pacemaker, they're going to pick up a Pugna.
Yeah, Pugna, I love this hero to see it being played. It can be very good and sometimes it doesn't do a lot. But when it works out, it's really interesting to watch. And that ward can do so much damage against certain heroes, especially Lina here.
Yeah, she really just can't cast anything whenever the ward is down. But in general, this kind of means that Energy Pacemaker want to just group up and push. How do you think they're going to lane the Pugna, however? Is it going to be safe lane farming for them?
I think it's gonna be safe lane or a support Pugna. It can work both ways. I think the Tusk is gonna be the offlaner. Otherwise, you could have done something like Pugna aggressive dual lane, because Pugna with boots early has incredible movement speed and it's really hard to catch, and you can put a lot of pressure on the enemy safe lane. But I wouldn't recommend it, and I think it's gonna be a safe lane Pugna. Whether it be carry or support, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. The timing window that is starting to form for Energy Pacemaker, they just get a mech up for the Shadow Fiend, like level 7 on the Pugna, and start trying to push down these lanes coming up from Newbee Miracle. It looks like Miracle expected to be a farming Pugna.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a farming Pugna. But on the other hand, the mech is being picked up by Shadow most likely, so Pugna you can afford to have it as support, but it's a really strong core hero in general, and it's very good against Temper Assassin Juggernaut with Decrepify, because it removes. You can't attack against the area you use it on, so Juggernaut and Temper Assassin just useless then.
Yeah, and that sort of makes the support Pugna look a little bit more attractive. It's a bit of an awkward supporting duo, Earthshaker and Pugna, but the built-in Ghost Scepter has a lot of utility this game, as you already said, and he's going to be pretty hard for them to focus on the backlines, unless Lina can get on top of him, in which case, as long as the Pugna ward's down, he'll just explode. But let's see. Last ban coming out from Energy Pacemaker. I think it's going to be a clock ban.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a clock ban or spirit breaker, but they're taking a long time here, and I think they aren't really sure either. They just gotta go with the clock. They were probably thinking of either of those two because it's the most easiest to like get rid of. Newbee Miracle has a lot of choices, so they don't really know if they could ban something that what Newbee wants. They just ban what's normal, pretty much then.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's see what Newbee Miracle is going to want. They have a lot of time to consider this last pick, about a minute and a half to think about it. Spirit Breaker is probably one of the best heroes that's available for them. There's not the greatest ways to cancel out the charge. The Fissure from the Earthshaker is, in theory, pretty good if you have vision of him before he comes in, but usually if you have to react, it's going to take too long. But instead, it's a Magnus for Newbee Miracle. Interesting. It's going to give them a lot of damage with the Juggernaut getting the empowered damage and cleave, and for the Templar Assassin too. It's a scary combination, but in lane, Magnus tends to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, that's a very surprising pick, but it works, I think. It's a bit of a risky pick, though. It can kind of get... it doesn't do that good against Pugna, because he doesn't have a lot of HP, and his spells cost quite a lot of mana, so he kind of loses a lot of HP with that. But Magnus is always a hero you can suddenly win a game with, no matter how far behind you are.
Yeah, one good RP could completely turn this around, especially if Energy Pacemaker decide to go for the farming Pugna. I think they might change their plan, or just go with the super aggressive support if they're going to stick to their guns and try to end this game early.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna pick. They could pick something like Zeus just to mess with Magnus initiation, but they already have Pugna, which is good enough, I think. Even though it doesn't mess with initiation, it's very hard for Magnus to get a good follow-up after the RP, because there's a lot of damage being taken from especially Rubik and Lina. Takes a lot of damage if they want to follow up, and they can get with the Tusk to save anyone that gets RP'd. It's pretty... They have a good counter already.
Wow, Gyrocopter was available this game, and honestly I thought he was banned out. But instead it's going to be picked up by Energy Pacemaker, a fairly well-rounded pick. Combined with the Pugna in lane, Decrepify and Rocket Barrage is very scary for the Magnus to deal with, and I think in general Gyrocopter is just going to be the same old stable Gyro that we've seen time and time again. Yeah,
I think it's a pretty good pick, and it's gonna be interesting early game. What happens? It's gonna be a support Lina, and the Templar Assassin probably gonna run mid. I'm not sure who has the advantage in laning phase. I don't think Tusk will have that much problems. He will probably die once or twice maybe, but he should do okay.
Well, for a quick introduction of both of these teams, Newbee Miracle on the Dire side with Christina playing the farming Juggernaut. He opens up with boots for his KKKK on the Templar Assassin, Origami on the Rubik, Chang on the Magnus, but not least, 621 on the Lina. For the Radiant side of the map, it is going to be Zhao Tulei actually playing on the Pugna. Now, that's pretty interesting. Usually is their off-lane player. Old Chicken on the Shadow Fiend, that's pretty normal. 5400 on the Earthshaker, Lei on the Tusk, and Fan on the Gyro.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of action already, actually. They don't have a smoke, though. They're not smoking up, right? They have one, but Christina in the front line doesn't have an initiation, so it's a bit weird. But okay, Newbee doesn't really want to fight this.
Oh, Templar Assassin walks back into it. She might get caught out here. There's a lift on the fan. They're going to pull the Gyrocopter back in, but Gyrocopter runs at them just the same. An awkward posturing game from both teams, but nothing really comes of it.
No. Magnus with 2 mangoes and 4 clarities, having a lot of mana regen. Sheng has done this before. A lot of mana focus and trying to spam out spells to get some farm. But it looks like Pagna will be offlane. He's starting to run there.
Yeah, and Jotile is playing on it, so I think that's going to be the plan for Energy Pacemaker. On offlane Pugna, I think you kind of need the boots first, or at the very least early boots, to make sure that you don't just get run over. Shadowfiend will get the Bounty Rune in bottom, Bounty Rune up top for the Templar Assassin, but yeah, this is very interesting. It's a inhospitable lane for a Pugna. If he gets lifted up, he's going to die, as long as they have spin.
Yeah, I wonder how much focus they're gonna put on this Pagna. Will Earthshaker be mid, or will he try and help up top with Fissures? Like I said, an aggressive dueling with Pagna can be pretty strong, because Pagna is very hard to catch when he picks up boots. He has one of the highest movement speed in the game. But against Rubik with boots as well, he can get caught pretty fast, and he goes down very fast against a spin.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a way to abuse the creep equilibrium, and at this point he doesn't have any wards out. They can just keep on pulling against this Pug Knight. I don't think there's much that Xiaotule can do about it.
Yeah, he's gonna have a hard time, I think, and Rubik can just man up and get him out of lane. But Magnus is gonna have equal hard time, I think. It's gonna be, if their pulls come through, it's not gonna be a lot of experience for him either, and he doesn't do well catching up either. Neither of these offlaners do well in jungle. Both can do it, but it's not efficient.
Yeah, and, well, bottom lane, gonna push for the Magnus. The pull-through coming out from the Tusk will secure some extra experience for Lei, but this laning stage looks to be fairly passive, and mostly as to be expected. The Earthshaker will sit mid, behind the Shadowfiend, making sure SF doesn't die. Mid lane will trade fairly evenly with farm early on, and then maybe later Old Chicken will start to pull ahead, but this seems to be a pretty slow game to start things.
Yeah, not a lot of rotation right now. Only Earthshaker standing mid guarding, pretty common, and Pugna is not really sure what he's supposed to do, running around a bit, trying to get Ruin, but he isn't even level 2 yet. Same on Magnus. It's probably going to be a very passive early game. I don't think either team is going to do a lot of rotations. Possibly the supports of Newbee is going to smoke up eventually.
Yeah, I think that comes down to these offlaner picks. Usually you'll see things like Spirit Breaker or Tusk, or things that can make rotations early on, or at the very least have a big leap in power at level 6, like Clockwork, but yeah, that's not really the case. Top rune going to be bottled up by the Templar Assassin. It's a regeneration rune. Tusk will secure the bounty in bot, but Magnus, walled up by the Ice Shards, they're not going to pull him in, and Cheng is going to survive. They're snowballing in. Wow, going into the tower with no creep wave. This is going to be a kill onto the Magnus.
Great decision making from EP. And Pugna almost going down top lane, but barely surviving with 50 HP and then pops his cell. But great presence of mind, knowing that Magnus doesn't have his skewer, so he can't get out, even if there was a TP support.
Yeah, and if that was just a couple seconds later, Magnus would have had the creeps coming in that would have absorbed a lot of the rocket barrage, so just in general, a good timing on that dive. And they also had creeps coming into the tower. There really was no risk for them going for that.
Yeah, and mid lane is going a lot better for Shadowfiend than I expected. I thought Tia would kind of dominate early, and then Shadowfiend can slowly come back, but he's already ahead in last hits.
Yeah, a lot of that comes down to the Earthshaker sitting behind him, and it's also a hero that Old Chicken's very comfortable on, so that definitely plays into it.
Yeah, and Newbee are kind of doing some movement towards mid because they want to help this Tia a bit. Rubik standing here, he's feeling that Tia should do better and wants to help out a bit, so they could shut this SF down.
Yeah, there is a Radiant Sentry inside the mid lane. That also helps out Old Chicken quite a bit. Until level 6 comes out for the TA, it's a little bit harder for them to set up with the Rubik kill, but Old Chicken's playing pretty aggressively for the most part. He's trying his best to eat through the refraction. They might be able to catch him off guard.
Yeah. And both of lanes getting a lot more experience now than earlier, with the creeps pushing, and Magnus found a good spot to hide here, while the supports on EP are stacking and helping out mid a bit more.
Yeah, in general, it's slowed down a lot, but Rubik finds a really big wraparound on the Shadowfiend. Old Chicken in a lot of trouble here. He's lifted up, Melt Strike will connect, and this should be enough damage to kill him off.
Fisher?
Oh, that'll buy him a little bit more time. Turns for the raise, and it's going to mean that he'll live on very little HP. Snowball in. Lei's going for the Templar Assassin kill. She has no mana, although she does have one bottle charge. She'll chase with the Sigil Slow, but it's not going to be enough. Everybody survives in the mid lane, miraculously. A perfect time on the Fissure.
Yeah, bit unfortunate for Tusk. I think he could have gotten that kill if he went for Rubik immediately. He should have used the Sigil better, and also, like, he can't kill TA there, and if he had gone for Rubik, I think he would have gotten the kill.
It's still good that the Shadow Fiend survives, and he's gonna have his bottle refilled, and then he'll send it back into the base and get a secondary refill. So Old Chicken can continue farming this mid lane. For now, it's almost exactly even. If we compare a safe lane, Gyrocopter's getting a little bit more farm, but oh, they're opening up in mid. They'll blow up the Templar Assassin with no refraction up. She dies so quickly.
Yeah, I don't think she was expecting to go down that fast, and both opponents are getting a lot of experience actually. Magnus being chased out a bit, but Pugna is doing a bit better than I expected, and it's because Shadowfiend is doing very good in mid, so he gets a bit more space because Rubik had to rotate there.
Yeah, that is going to help out Jotule a lot. Pugna as a hero, all he really needs is mana and levels. And he's getting up. The bottom lane, Magnus dropping low, will die to the Gyrocopter, but Fan's tanking some tower shots. No TP support means that Gyrocopter is going to go unpunished here.
Yeah. Great early game for EP. With Rubik not being top, Pugna is very safe with 370 movement speed. There's not really anyone that can catch up
But
with
Old
him.
Chicken might not be so safe. He's pulled back in. Templar Assassin has a couple defensive charges left, but they can't go for that kill. She's so low on HP.
Yeah, desperate attempt, but it doesn't really matter for the team there. They lose some mana HP, but they're probably gonna be able to get a ball, get full bottle here, unless Tusk can zone them out with his charge.
Well, let's see. He's going to be fighting up against the Templar Assassin. Lifted up. Lay's in a bit of trouble, but he has Ice Shards and he has Snowball. Snowball over towards Origami, but now he's walking through the river. They'll have another trap, but oh, that's a perfect Ice Shards block. Lay's going to survive.
Yeah, very well played. Using the Sigil to slow them so he gets enough space between him and them, and then just uses Ice Shots to block them off completely. Really nice play from him.
Yeah, he was still in a bit of a sketchy situation. He doesn't achieve his goal of denying the bottle refill from the Templar Assassin, but
Bottom
that was really slick. Oh, they're going to go for another dive on the Magnus with the call down and with the Rocket Barrage. Even though the Skewer flies, Van will survive, and he should be able to walk this one off. TPs down this bottom lane would have been so valuable for Newbee Miracle if they had TP support coming up from Leah. I mean, she had the teleport scroll bot, but she just decides not to use it. Or maybe she just purchased that.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. I think if Magnus had a stick or something instead of these two mangoes, he could have actually killed Garu there. If he had gotten his shockwave off, I think Fan would have died actually.
Mid lane, there was a smoke from the Pugna and Earthshaker, but the Templar Assassin's over at her Ancients. It seems that she smells something's wrong. That's mostly just due to good game sense, however. There are no dire wards on the map right now.
Oh, 7 minutes, all the wards are dying. They're gonna get some more out soon, I think. And I wonder if they want to get this mid tower now with the Pugna being here as well. They might try and take it down before Newbee are able to react.
Templar Assassin will pull off the creep aggro, but it's a pretty dangerous game for the TA right now. The Tusk is coming in from the right-hand side, and if she sticks any closer, things could get really bad. Fisher will connect. Snowball afterwards. Now the refraction is down. She's going to be dropped very low. No detection on the ground. And will she really survive? She's going to try to run away, but raised down by the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's taking a lot of Blade Fury damage, however. Christina joins the fray. Won't be able to secure any of those kills. Hasted forward. Old Chicken's looking for it. They get the decrep onto the Rubik with one raise connecting. It's going to drop him low, but the third raise won't connect. In the meantime, bottom lane, another kill onto this Magnus. Gyrocopter is handling him solo.
Yeah, Fan is just destroying this offlane Magnus right now. And Old Chicken with his classic haste rune. He's the S4 of Shine, I think.
Yeah, every time we see him, it's hastes or double damage runes, mostly haste runes though.
Yeah.
It goes to show just good rune control coming out from the team in general, but he is very lucky.
Yeah, and TA not surviving that was quite unfortunate for them. If he had survived that, they could have probably defended the tower with Juggernaut coming in. He could have gotten a blade for off if they had, only slash if they had a more follow-up, but it wasn't really much to do when the TA went down.
Early game's looking really good for Energy Pacemaker, getting a lot of farm in the Shadow Fiend and the Gyrocopter. If you compare their net worths at face value to the Juggernaut as well as the Templar Assassin, the Gyro almost has 2k advantage over those two since he's gotten so many kills and solo kills at that on the Magnet. It looks like they're going to find another one with an Invis rune up for Lei. Chang, I think he's just going to die here unless there's very quick TP support, but they decide not to go for it.
Yeah, he's playing a bit more defensive now after dying a few times. But this is not really what you want for a Magnus offlane. He's been left alone versus the Gyro, 1 versus 1. He shouldn't die this much, and it just means that Gyro is getting a lot more value out of the lane than he should, and Magnus is going to have a hard time coming back with... I don't think there's a lot of stacks in his jungle, not any actually, and I'm not sure where his farm going to come from.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. At this point, you want to have Arcane Boots even on an offlane Magnus, or at least be halfway towards your Blink Dagger, since he has been left alone so much. But yeah, Chang is struggling quite a bit, and he's scared of even just having the Tusk there. There could be backup. They are going to this game mostly blind. They have one ward in the mid-river area, but it's not going to protect the Magnus too much. He'll cancel cast his RP, and now that he has that tool, maybe they can set up some kills.
Yeah, and some interesting item picks up from EP. Shadowfiend is gonna go for the Yules, and Pugna goes for the mech, which is a good decision, I think. Pugna with mech is pretty damn strong, and Yules initiation can be very strong against someone like TA, where the refraction just disappears.
Yeah, and it's also going to be pretty good defensively. Even if Lena gets a Yule Scepter of her own, which at the current rate of her farming isn't going to be for a very long time, he'll be able to dodge the Light Strike rays, and it's great against the Omni Slash. It's, in general, just a good pickup.
Yeah, and the towers are going down slowly but surely on Newbee's side. The mid tower with the rotation from Pugna gets taken down, and now Pugna just floats it up with Shadowfiend, and they're starting to hack away this tower. And of course, Fan killing Magnus so many times just makes him take down the tower solo, and it's gonna be a big advantage for EP, not only with the kills, but the map control they will get from this.
Yeah, a lot of gold for their heroes. The tier 1 tower up towards top is going to be dropped very, very low. They have a catapult wave, and it looks like they should be able to take it with this creep wave. Just one more Pugna blast and a little bit more damage. Just drop down into deny range now. Snowball.
And Christina.
Yeah, they're going to jump to Christina with the Walrus Punch used prematurely. He'll be able to Blade Fury TP, but that means that the tower falls very quickly. And Shadowfiend now has a double damage room. They might be able to go for a little bit more.
Yeah, but they're getting split pushed a bit here with Magnus and TA, and they're gonna defend. They might continue with the rest though, and just defend with 1 or 2.
They TP back the Tusk. That's going to repel Templar Assassin push. Now go for the call down. It is going to be juked by the Lina, but she walks right into a Rocket Barrage and right into a double damage Shadowfiend. Pugna secures the kill, and it looks like tier 2 in top is going to take a lot of heavy damage with the Pugna ward down on the ground. Energy Pacemaker have a lot of control here. They'll try to focus down the Pugna ward, but they're just doing too much damage to this tower. They'll decrep up the ward, one more blast, and the tier 2's in deny range. Can they retreat out cleanly? Old Chicken going to look for the Requiem. He's going to be RP, pulled back in with the Meld Strike. They'll blow up the Shadowfiend, but now smoking up. If they're just going to connect onto Christina, he'll be able to Blade Fury in, trying to run in, but the physical damage is a little too much for this Juggernaut. He might end up going down, he will, but Light Strike right connects onto 2 with the follow-up Shockwave. That'll be 3 kills for Newbee Miracle, and they'll secure the tower deny.
Good defense from Newbee. Just throwing everything on Shadowfiend is the correct decision there. They can't, if they let him have use Requiem of Souls, they would probably all die. Just throw everything at him, and EP staying too long with the rest of the heroes, trying to get the tower when it's 2 hits away.
Snowball in, poor Rubik gonna be caught out over in the sidelines with just a raw amount of burst. He'll be able to kill him off, but now Lei is caught inside the trees, isolated by his own ice shards, and Lei is going to pay for that kill. Meld Strike from Templar Assassin will get the killing spree. That's a big gold swing for Newbee Miracle over this last 2 fights. More than 3,000 gold going to their favor.
Yeah, that was not worth it from EP getting the Rubik kill, and Lina is getting quite a lot of farm suddenly, already over 1,000 gold, and if she gets a use, they have a lot easier initiation, and I don't have to rely on Magnus as much. But he picked up his blink thanks to those steps already at 13 minutes. Considering his start, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, at 9 minutes in, he only had 300 gold. That was 4 minutes to farm for 90% of a blink deck. That's impressive. Things are looking up for them, but still the Shadowfiend and the Gyrocopter are out-farming the Jug and the TA. Kind of to be expected. They're better flash farmers, especially when you have Ancient Sex to rely on for the Gyro.
Yeah, I wonder what Deep is gonna do now. If they decide to push too fast too early now, this Magnus with Blink could absolutely destroy them. If they are grouping up quite a lot, because they know that he doesn't have Blink, but if they underestimate his farm right now, they could maybe lose everyone.
Gyro will finish up that Ancient stack. He's sitting on a large lump sum of gold. After it falls, probably more than 2,500 for Fan. And you have the Yules almost done on the Shadowfiend. They're going to get a couple of big items, and a hasted Shadowfiend with Yules is terrifying. The haste is going to be popped naturally pretty soon here, but Old Chicken should be able to set up a kill if they smoke now. But Newbee Miracle are grouped up. They're smoked themselves. They want to force a fight, since I don't think Energy Pacemaker have seen this Magnus Blink Dagger. They are going to reveal it sooner rather than later. Let's see if it's going to come with a big fight. Earthshaker's the only one that's close, and he has Fisher. Tusk is over in the sidelines, but it looks like they'll just concede this tier 1 tower.
Shadow King coming in with haste though again, and he has to use the initiate.
Let's see where he's going to use it. Looks like he'll decide against it. They might have spotted out the Blink Dagger of the Magnus with some deep Radiant Observers that have been placed. But, oh, Blinken, looking for the RP. He doesn't actually cast it. And Stolen Spell going to be a decrypt by Rook. But my goodness, Chang took so much damage from that raise as well as the Pugna Ward. They'll use up the Rubik. The follow from the Pugna Blast. It'll be a dead Origami very cleanly for Energy Pacemaker. But they have lost the tier 1. Top lane, Gyrocopter looking for a TP out away from the Templar Assassin. And he will be successful.
He got the tower as well. Tay did not manage to deny it, and we saw the damage from Pugna Ward there. Magnus doesn't have very high HP, and his spells cost quite a lot of mana, so he just takes so much damage from that and a race. Almost died.
Yeah. Old Chicken going to continue his reign of terror over in the sidelines. Energy Pacemaker still have an advantage, and I think they've kind of weathered the storm of that last fight. Even though it went poorly for them, they feel comfortable enough to go for this tier 2 tower in mid. I don't really blame them. As long as they don't get clumped up for a big RP, Newbee Miracle probably won't be able to contest this convincingly.
Oh, this is gonna be hard. I don't think EP will clump up enough for Magnus to get good initiation.
He's gonna go straight for the Shadow Fiend, but he misses the pullback, and that's RP on cooldown, and that's a conceded 2-2. I don't see them fighting this. They're going to look for the Pugna, but now snowballed up. The Templar Assassin is not going to be able to secure that kill because of decrypt. He'll get a little bit of spill damage, but not near enough. They're chasing forward, walk into the Echo Slam, catches out 2. The follow-up Fissure isn't there. Requiem's going to be unwound, but doesn't do near enough damage. Walrus Punch will go for a kill, a Requiem, or Death Requiem, or what actually happened? That was Rubik stealing Requiem. Okay, there we go. And in mid lane, 2 raises going to go into the Juggernaut. The Healing Ward will be killed, and the Flat Cannon shot almost going to be lethal, but not quite. Up in the north, double kill for the Templar Assassin. She'll mop up the Tusk's life, and we'll find a bounty rune. She's trying to run away, and with the Fissure call down, it might not be enough. She's going to look for the TP. Do they have a way to cancel it? Enchant Totem will secure it, and KK can't actually kill off the Earthshaker before dying herself.
Yeah, that team fight went a bit better for Newbee than expected after the missed RP. He did miss RP, but he wanted to RP and turn and then immediately skewer, but he messed that up, and it could have been horrible for Newbee if EP didn't go. They kind of misplayed that a bit. They could have been a better grouped up, and but either way, EP are just doing better in these team fights.
Yeah, the Earthshaker, unfortunate for him, wasn't able to instantly follow up with the Fissure. It looks like he was just a little bit short of mana. That walk-in Echo Slam was probably about as good as it gets, catching out both the Templar Assassin and the Juggernaut, but just not quite enough.
Yeah, if that had been a level 2 Juggernaut Omnislash, I think Epic could have actually lost a lot more heroes. Shadow Fiend would have went down, and I think they would have lost more. They couldn't have killed the TA if that would have happened.
Yeah, but this Juggernaut's still quite far behind. In fact, he's almost getting doubled up by the Gyrocopter when it comes to net worth. He's just farming quite slowly. He's not finding as much space, near as much space, as Old Chicken and Fan.
Yeah, Fan is really farmed. He's going to go for early Butterfly. You're not getting a lot of HP. That could be a weakness, though, against Magnus and Lina.
You'll set you down in bottom lane, catches out the Juggernaut. He's going to try to just run away with this spin, but he's taking so much damage. Shadow Fiend's chasing after him with the Yule's movement speed, long range. I was a little hopeful coming out from Old Chicken, but still putting a lot of pressure, and now that they forced out the Juggernaut, they can go for a tier 2 tower push here.
Yeah, forcing out the drum shots, nothing much, but still something. It doesn't cost you anything, and this tower is gonna be a hard defense.
Oh, Nina, that's a very risky TP. She spotted out, will be brought down. That was just not a good place to be going. Right behind the tier 2 tower. I think that was a misclick. I expect her to have been trying to go for the tier 3.
It's a bit unfortunate because if Magnus had been smoked there, if they die for Lina that hard, he can get a free-man RP and they could turn it. So a bit of a misplay from Newbee. Should communicate a bit better, and they could have maybe turned that around.
With the Sigil, they're going to go into the Roshan pit. They have more than enough damage to do this, especially with the DD on the Tusk. Although, Newbee Miracle have their RP, and it looks like they want to go into this pit. They're spotted out by... Oh no, they're not. They're smoked up. The Juggernaut and the Magnus are coming through. This could go very sour for Energy Pacemaker. The Pugna Ward's on the ground. Gyrocopter's going to join the fray, and they know about it. Let's see if Newbee Miracle want to engage. Tempo Assassin will walk around the corner to get the RP, but it's only onto Old Chicken. Old Chicken will be focused pretty hard, but with the Eagle Scepter, he dodges most of that Omni Slash. Old Chicken will get mech'd up. Won't save the Shadow Fiend's life, but this fight still could go pretty well for them. Thus, we'll go over to the Rubik as Pugna's isolated away from the rest of his team. Gyrocopter, man fighting up against the Juggernaut. Barely enough damage with the Flat Cannon. Now with Templar Assassin's Refraction being eaten away by that Rock Brush, she will also go down. It started out pretty well for Newbee Miracle, but it's starting to go off of the hinges. Origami being chased down. They have a Snowball in 2 and Ice Shards in 1 more now. He's going to use the stolen Snowball to delay some time, but it's only going to do that. The Snowball is going for the Juggernaut. He's going, or for the Gyrocopter, and he's going to go down.
Yeah, that Pugna ward is just so strong. Everyone takes so much damage. Even if Shadow Fiend goes down, when Fan comes in, he just cleans up, and there's nothing Newbee can do. Like, they need to take down that Pugna ward if they want to fight. And now the Earthshaker has a blink as well. It's gonna be twice as hard to fight.
Yeah, that's a huge pickup for the Earthshaker. It's a very fast timing one for the support DS. And now you have Aegis going away, Fan's going to find himself an Aegis the Immortal, and you have a Shadow Fiend with a Shadow Blade Yules. That initiation is very scary, but the problem still arises that Energy Pacemaker have very little raw HP on the Gyrocopter as well as the SF. They're still difficult to bring down, but it's not impossible for Newbee Miracle to turn a fight.
Yeah, and Pugna picking up Guardian Greaves. They really have to rely on the Magnus RP. They can't play normal fights. They have to land at least a 3-man RP at the moment, maybe a 2-man if EP goes a bit too far. But the Pugna ward is making it so hard because everyone on Newbee except Juggernaut and TA will take a lot of damage and will probably die with just some splash damage from Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and also another issue for Newbee Miracle is they just don't have enough levels on this Magnus. They kind of need Empower to make the Juggernaut a super big threat, and the Templar Assassin to a lesser extent. If they had like a maxed out Empower at this point with the level 2 Omni Slash, things get a lot more interesting for Newbee Miracle's fight. But their follow-up to the RP, although good, isn't where they need it to be.
No, they need to get some magic RPs, and they kind of need EP to go a bit too far. Pugna with the Guardian Greaves can sustain his team a lot. Shadow Fiend is not that tanky though. Since he went for the Shadow Blade, he's quite squishy, so he can't really go up and take down towers without putting himself in risk. And Gyrocopter also has a lot of damage and doesn't take damage from TA or Juggernaut with the Butterfly, but he's still pretty squishy for magic damage, so they have some potential to nuke them down.
2-2 tower mid lane's going to fall, and it doesn't look like Energy Pacemaker showed any major signs of slowing here. They would love to have picked off the Magnus before going for a high ground push, but I still think they have it in them to just go for it.
Yeah, I wonder what their plan is right now. Pugna is kind of peeking, but because of the item selection from EP, they can't siege well. They don't have anyone tanky because on the front lines that could get life drained and just stand there and take down the tower. I kind of wish the Shadow Fiend would have gone for Sanchez and just done that play. I think it would have been a safer way to play, but it's still fine, just that you can't siege as early.
Yeah, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, and they'll rely more on getting that single target pick off. There's a Blink Dagger now on the Templar Assassin, that's pretty good for Newbee Miracle, but the TA, it doesn't feel like she can convincingly blow up any of these targets whenever there's a fissure and whenever there's a Pugna decrypt. As long as, oh, RP, they look for it, but it's completely off the mark, and now Yule's up, Chang's in a bit of trouble. Be able to skew over to the right-hand side, but that's Energy Pacemaker's opening. Without RP, they can push.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. That's gonna mean EP can probably take high ground quite easily. This Gyrocopter is going very far though. I think he could actually go down.
He's going to be lifted up, Light Strike Array. He has Aegis, but they use Laguna Blade to pop it. Now he's going to have the rest of his team coming closely. There is no skewer. It was on cooldown from that escape, but they blew up Belina. Oh, just Fissure and Pugna Blast. That was all that they needed.
If Magnus had a RP there, or even just a skewer, that guy would have gone down again. Yeah. And that was a costly mistake by Magnus using RP there, completely missing it. And EP is gonna take advantage of this and could possibly take
Blink Echo. They found themselves a Templar Assassin, and she's obliterated. She does have buyback. So that's a silver lining for Newbee Miracle, but even with the TA buyback, contesting this is almost impossible. They'll keep on going. They're going to try for it. The melee barracks are under some pretty heavy siege. They get a nice vision from Rubik. That's going to wall them off. They can't actually squeeze past that Pugna ward. Once the Pugna ward expires, maybe they can, but oh, Tempo Assassin gonna go forward, but decrapped up. The Tusk is hardly taking any damage. Shadowpeak will use himself defensively, but into the Shockwave, he'll be able to Shadow Blade out and has 17 stick charges. They'll blow up the Rubik with a little bit of damage coming out from the Earthshaker, but the Pugnus a little too low. This fight still could go in Newbee Miracle's favor, especially if they get a good Light Strike ready to catch out 2 of them. The Requiem is unwound, and I really don't know how it's going to end up going from here. Fisher onto the Templar Assassin. KKK is caught out, but with a couple of hits onto Old Chicken, they're dropping so low with the spin damage. That's a dead Tusk. Yule Scepter will delay some time for Old Chicken, and again, he'll be able to Shadow Blade out to safety. They'll go into the Pugna. Skewer forward, connects onto the Pugna. He's going to go for the decrep, but he's smacked down by Magnus' hammer. And Newbee Miracle, they defend high ground. Although it's costly, it's not over yet. They'll blow up the Templar Assassin. That's a dieback, so hold the phone. That might not be a hold after all. The Laguna Blade to 5400, but this Gyrocopter is doing way too much with the flak. They might be able to kill off that Juggernaut. The Yule Scepter on top of him will cancel his TP, and now Chang is isolated without a team. He has RP, and he has buyback. He needs to use it now. Calldown's not going to find the Rubik. They'll go for the melee barracks afterwards, and well, looks like NH Pacemaker have done it. It looked like that fight could have turned around for Miracle, but it just doesn't happen. They'll buy back the Juggernaut. They get the RP solo onto the Gyrocopter. Earthshaker blinks into it. 5400 will go down, but the Juggernaut just can't follow up. Looks like he didn't have a TP at the ready. He's going to try to spin down Fan, but the right click damage is way too high. EP gets a double kill for the Gyrocopters. The Black Hand kills off the Rubik, and good game is called.
That was some intense fighting, but as soon as the Scotty got delivered to Fan, that fight was over. He was so tanky, did so much damage. And I don't think they should pick Magnus again. That's what this game pretty much came down to. He didn't do anything valuable in this game, and he had a lot of potential, to be honest. If he had played a bit better, they could have done some amazing plays.
It's a bit harsh, but when you're picking up one of those more risky heroes, there's a lot of pressure on you to perform, and even though it just didn't work out. He wasn't able to find those initiations that they desperately needed, but there's still hope for Newbee Miracle. It is a best-of-3 series after all, so NB Pacemaker up game 1. We'll have to see if Newbee can come back. I'm Grenus V, joined by Kefka, and we'll be around shortly for game number 2, about 5 minutes.